Good evening, everyone. Thanks once again for joining this episode 3 of our Archicad Now webinar series. So, this Archicad Now webinar series is focusing on the topic accelerating IDD adoption. And we have been seeing for the last 2 weeks on the design use cases to digitalize the design stages on the processes. If you have not watched the webinar recording, or if you have not watched the webinar, so here is the QR code that has a recording of the webinar for past 2 sessions. And on this session, we are going to see the construction and fabrication related workflows, and we are going to see how to digitalize them using Archicad and other tools. Okay, so let me stay here for some more seconds so that you can scan the QR code to save the recording from the previous webinar sessions. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post your questions on the chat. We will address to it during the Q&A session at the end. All right, so without further ado, let's go into today's topic. So as I said earlier, we're going to focus on fabrication and construction use cases. And here are the topics that we are going to cover today. So we will see how to do digital progress monitoring using Archicad and other tools like dRofus. And we are also going to see how to use Archicad and BIMx together with dRofus to perform QA/QC inspection digitally. And my colleague Melville will share the quantity takeoff, bill of quantities, how to perform progress claim or value engineering inside Archicad, and also the cost control using Archicad. So let me go into the first topic, which is the digital progress monitoring. So during the digital progress monitoring, in the conventional workflow, people used to work using the papers and then scanning it and then sending across people. But during this design digital workflow, you can focus only on the design digital solutions and then record all the or document all the progresses of construction and fabrication digitally, and then sync it on the go with the project stakeholders so that everybody will be able to see the information digitally from wherever they are. And then it enables to perform 4D and 5D BIM during the construction and fabrication stages as well. And you can also, the engineers or the managers can do the decision making in a much informed, better way, so that the reworks and then the delays will be much reduced. And it can also enable digital cost control and progress claiming, which will be shown later by my colleague. So it is a process actually starting from digital progress monitoring and how the information flows across different tools, and then how we are going to perform digital cost control and progress claiming will be shown on this episode. So let us see the workflow here. So first, what we need to do is to have all the properties created inside Archicad and dRofus, which is basically the placeholder to hold all the progress monitoring related information inside Archicad and dRofus. So that is what we need to do first. And then with the Archicad model, we can publish into BIMx. And with the Python API from Archicad, we can generate this BIMx extension that can enable to access the occurrence of each element inside dRofus within the BIMx user interface. So this extension can do that, and this is automated using the Python API. So we are not creating the extension manually here. It is created automatically based on the Python script. And then if you have a QR code attached to any of the component during the fabrication or design stage, you can just scan the QR code, which will basically show the element inside BIMx, and then select the element. From there you can open the dRofus platform from where you can update the progresses. So you have everything inside. So you have 3D and 2D related information inside BIMx, and then the relevant information of metadata inside dRofus within the BIMx platform itself. So now after the progress has been updated, we need to push this information inside Archicad so that we can create reports out of it in different file formats, and then we can also visualize the progress monitoring of elements inside Archicad and also inside BIMx. So again, BIMx, we have created a new plugin or a new extension using which you can get the real-time statuses of the elements using the color coding by the plugin that we have created. We will see that in action in a bit. So let us see the process in action. So as I told earlier, the first thing we need to do is to create the properties both inside Archicad and dRofus. So here you can see I've created this progress monitoring related properties like fabrication, delivery, and work statuses. So these are just the placeholders which will get the information from dRofus to store it inside Archicad. So again, inside dRofus user interface, I need to create this placeholders. So here is where I'm creating under the GUI editor. So I've created fabrication, delivery, and work progresses statuses for all the elements. And then you can see that for each of the occurrences of the elements inside dRofus. So when I go to the level, and then you can see all the elements or the occurrences of each of this element. So here I'm just tracking the structural element for this webinar. So you can see when I select any of the element, you can see the statuses of those. Right now it is all empty because I have not entered anything yet. When I come back to Archicad, I can log in inside Archicad for within dRofus. And then when I do that, I will be able to see the properties of those elements which is coming from dRofus inside Archicad itself. So you can see on the panel, I can see the properties. So now I need to map this dRofus properties with Archicad properties, right? So here is the occurrence and object configuration where I have done the mapping. So you can see it here. So you can see those here, which is mapping the information from dRofus to Archicad. All right, so you can also see it here on the panel, the statuses, and the arrow here, orange color arrow, indicates that it is coming from dRofus. So now let me show you the Python script that I have created to check the progresses of elements inside the BIMx. So it is a very simple few lines of code which will retrieve the information from dRofus using the REST API of dRofus, and then it will show the elements on color coding inside BIMx. So let us load the extension which was generated by the Python script. So here I'm loading the extension. So it is installed. So let me open the model and then go to the basement view. So here I'm just going to use the basement view for this webinar. And whenever I select an element, I will see this option called open items in dRofus. So this option is created by the extension that we loaded just now. So when I click that, it will open the dRofus screen inside my BIMx so that I can scroll down and then check for the element information. And right now you can see here I have the progress monitoring related information. So I can just open it on a browser directly and then edit them, or I can do it within BIMx screen itself. So here I've opened it on a browser, and then you can see a wide screen of it. So you can see the statuses of the fabrication. I can choose based on the real life scenario of that particular element, and then I can just save it. So similarly for delivery statuses, depending on the tracking information that you have, you can choose one of it. So these are not just the information that you can have. You can create any number of properties like this and then track whatever you want based on the progresses of different stages, so that you can come out with a comprehensive digital progress monitoring workflow and information inside your model itself. So now coming back to BIMx, you can see I have all the information that I edited inside the dRofus screen itself. So whenever I check for this information, I will be able to check the statuses in real time. Okay. So now if I want to add images or documents to this particular element, I can do that as well inside dRofus. So you can see if I go to the document tab there, I can add images, or I can add PDF files, whatever, and then I can even attach a category to it. Say for example, if I need to tag it to someone, asking them to check for it or approve, or even for requesting for them to approve, we can tag that category here, so that they will, whoever has access to that particular workflow will be able to see this information inside dRofus when they log in. And then so now you can see, we will see the statuses of the elements. Now that we have updated the statuses, Now let us check out the statuses of elements in color coding. So you can see I have this new option called progress monitoring, which is developed by the workflow that the extension that we have installed. So when I open that, I will have three buttons which will show the check fabrication, and then when I click that, it will get the information from dRofus in real time and then color code the elements based on the statuses. So you can see here the formwork, concreting, fabrication in progress, all that is color coded based on the statuses of each element. So if you change it or if you check it after some time, based on the information that has been changed, the colors will also be changed. So it is in real time you're checking the information from dRofus using the dRofus REST API inside BIMx API. And then here I'm checking the delivery statuses of the elements. You can see some of them are delivery in progress, some of them have not started, or some of them has been delivered already. And then similarly you can check for construction statuses, which is the work status as well. So some of them are work in progress, some of them have already completed, and some have not been started. So all this, as I told earlier, so it's real-time information. And then when you select or click any of the ID there, it will zoom into that particular element, and then it will show you which element it is exactly. So this is like you can just use your mobile screen, and then you can check the statuses of each element, either using the dRofus interface or using this API extension that we have created using the color coding feature to show the element statuses in different colors. All right, so this particular workflow, as I said earlier, in the manual workflow, you have to manually document every progress and then create files, scan those files and send across to people to get approval or whatever. But using this workflow, where everything is digitally done, you just have to tag the right people or put the category to the right people so that they will be able to have access to this information if at all they have to approve the workflow that you're processing. If not, based on the access rights, they will just have the viewer access, so they will be able to view what you're logging. And then just by using this BIMx interface, using the dRofus screen, you can sync your progress related information with everyone just in few seconds. So everybody will be aligned and then will be able to take a better decision based on the information that we have, and it improves accuracy and better collaboration as well. All right, so let us go to this QA/QC inspection, which is again the digital form of it. And then this workflow is enabling us to standardize the QA/QC workflow. And it is very similar to the previous workflow as well. And it enables us to perform construction quality inspection, material inspection, even you can document the concrete cube test, architectural work inspection, quality observation, and so on. So as I said, when you log this information inside dRofus within the BIMx interface, everybody will be getting the information instantly, and then it helps to perform better decision making. So the progress monitoring is very similar to the one. So previous workflow, just have to use the BIMx API, and then based on the dRofus screen, you can just enter the value of your inspection, and then this information will be updated back inside Archicad so that everybody can see it. And then based on this, we can go for progress claim and then cost control, which will be shown by my colleague Melville next. So let us see this workflow in action again. So previously, just similar to the previous workflow, you have to have all the properties that you need to hold the information about the QA/QC. So here I'm seeing the inspection data that is coming from the field measurements. So I've created properties as a placeholder inside Archicad so that based on this, we can calculate the cost. So here you can see the QA/QC inspection form. It can have all the information that you want to have here, which is similar to the traditional workflow. So whatever information that you put inside the traditional workflow, you can create it inside here as well. So you can see I've created this description for work and so on. And then the same thing, I need to create it inside the dRofus interface as well. So dRofus also need to have all the placeholders. And then using the configuration, I can map the dRofus data to populate inside Archicad based on which we can perform the cost control and quality analysis and all that. So again, this is enabled using the Python API to generate this BIMx extension. So based on each element, we will have a QR code or URL for each element, and then it will open that particular element's instance inside dRofus web. All right. So going inside BIMx screen, so whenever I select an element, I can open the element in dRofus. And then you can see when I scroll down, I have the information related to QAQC inspection. And if you see here the BIM measurements, so these value are coming from BIM model itself. And then the field measurements are the one that the QAQC inspector will key in during the inspection stage. So all this information are to and fro. So we are getting some information from BIM, and then we are going to pass this field information back inside the BIM authoring tool, which is Archicad here. So there's two-way connection in this Archicad and dRofus, which enables us to perform this workflow in a much better way. So you can see here, I can choose the type of work which I'm performing. I can type in the description of the work. I can choose a date at which this particular quality analysis is performed. So the start time, end time, and even if I want to add comments in a multi-line text, I can do that as well here. And then regarding the statuses of the inspection, I can choose whether it is passed or failed. So both from contractor's perspective and also from the QP's perspective, we can let the concerned party choose the value based on the access rights that they have, and then they can give their comments as well. So as I said, once you document this information here, it is synced across all the systems. So instantly everybody will be able to see this information in real time. And then if in case you want to add any documents, so in the traditional workflow, we normally do it in documents. So even that document, you can just upload it here and then tag it to the concerned parties requesting for approval, or maybe if you're an approver, you can just go ahead and approve it, and you can perform this workflow. So with respect to images and then 2D drawings, even that is available inside the BIMx interface itself, right? So we can just open the relevant 2D information, and then you can just immediately take a screenshot of it, so that you can do a markup just like what we do in the traditional workflows. So in the traditional workflows, we do some annotations and markup, so that we are highlighting the element which we are, doing the inspection. So once you do that, you can go to this dRofus interface from within BIMx, and then open it, and then you can just upload this image there. So whoever is opening inside dRofus, and if they don't have access to the BIMx, they will be able to see the image or the 2D information here, and then you can put in some note there, and then you can just submit it for them to review it or see it inside BIMx itself or inside dRofus itself. So a wide range of workflow is possible with these Archicad, BIMx, and dRofus, and then everything is in real time. So you can see here when I come to dRofus interface, I'm able to see all the statuses that I uploaded or created inside BIMx, and then the image that we just uploaded. Everything is available instantly across all the platforms. Okay. All right. So here is the KPI. Based on the traditional workflow, it is all manually done, and we have to manually scan everything and send across to project stakeholders. But in this workflow, everything is digitally done, and everyone is well informed of what is happening. And then and everybody is able to see it in real time. Even if you want to use this information for further for progress claiming and so on, you can use this so that it enables the digitalization of the following workflows as well. So this is quite useful as it reduces times, improves accuracy, and it enables better collaboration among the project stakeholders. All right, so the next workflow is quantity takeoff with Archicad, which will be shown by my colleague Melville.
Are you guys able to hear me and able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Vimao, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this week's session. So I'm Melville, and I'll be presenting to you on the topic of quantity takeoff based on the IDD use cases. So I would like to take this opportunity to highlight that in this webinar, we are trying to show you the overview workflow of how to use Archicad to achieve costing, and hence we won't be going very in-depth, but if you see anything that is useful for your project, feel free to check in with us. So previously, we have talked about cost planning with Archicad and presented on how to do conceptual estimation using Archicad. So this week, we'll be covering from design to construction stage, and we'll be taking into account QTO to BQ and to cost reporting and monitoring. Okay, so and since not everyone over here is well versed in costing, so I'll be explaining a bit what are the different types of cost plan they are across the different stages. Okay, so for design stage, we will need to do quantity takeoff, which will later develop into views of quantity. So the quantity takeoff is prepared in a spreadsheet format and adopting standards such as the CMS in Singapore context. Okay, so this will present to us a more accurate picture of where the costs are being distributed, and with the use of a reference frame with WBS, the work breakdown structure, and CBS, cost breakdown structure, to develop the design and also to maintain cost control. Okay, so moving on to the construction stage, the QTO will still remain depending on the project situation, such as for change management, value engineering, or differences in construction as compared to the building model. So this measurement will be used for progress claim. So we will also see how we can prepare for progress claim as well as value engineering. And then lastly, with all the cost information, we attempt to do cost control within Archicad. All right, so now I'll be showing you the workflow overview of using Archicad to achieve costing in these two stages. So as I mentioned earlier, during a design to standard stage, you will need to prepare QTO and BOQ. So I believe most of you already know this. So within Archicad, you can be based on using the preset classification, preset expression-based properties for the cost data or formulas, and also using interactive schedule templates that is developed by us. So if you need all these presets and templates, we can provide to you as well for your project. Okay. So otherwise, you can use dRofus to pump in the cost data. So they also have a cost data repository where you can enter the respective cost data. Okay. So with this QTO, you can easily develop the BOQ, and these two information you can actually pump it to our BIM cloud, which is our collaboration for the different stakeholders to review of the model, the building project together with cost information. Okay, and this is actually the information is also to and fro from dRofus to BIM cloud and also to Archicad. Okay, so for construction stages, as I mentioned earlier, the QTO will still remain for the various contexts or situation, and this you can develop it to a progress claim, and you can also do value engineering if there is a need to. So these are again based on the preset expression-based property for the formulas, and also you can use design option for value engineering if there is any changes, and you can actually compare the two different designs or options that you have, and then with the cost information, and you can do better informed decision making. So previously in the second section, I already showed how to use design option, and with the use of like these interactive schedules and all to help you develop value engineering and also or like conceptual estimate on the various design option. So please maybe you can just rewatch the section 2 itself. Okay, so just now Vimao have already shown how you can use BIMx and with the help of dRofus, which you can pump in the progress monitoring and also the QA/QC inspection, and this will come into Archicad in real time. So you can get the, for example, the inspection, the progress, the site progress status, and also like the field conditions of the element that is being inspected. And again, this workflow itself is to and fro between dRofus and Archicad. So just now, Vima already showed you. Okay. So now let me go into the step by step of how you can do this quantity takeoff easily within Archicad. So number one is to import classification and properties. So these are all preset we already developed for you based on the CMS standard. You can just import in and straight away use it by just assigning the classification. So the next thing is to set up calculation rules. So later I'll go further in depth on all this. So number two is to assign the classification and also to import the rates. So for you to generate the costing information. Okay, then thirdly is to import interactive schedule templates. So this will generate the spreadsheet within Archicad easily. So this will be using the element and component schedule of Archicad. Okay, and then lastly, you can either place on a layout or you can just straight away publish the Excel sheet itself. Okay. So let me go into some information of each step itself. So for importing our classification and properties, so previously already mentioned, we have already based it on the CMS 97 of Singapore standard. So this one you will just import in and you will get all this information. As you can see, these are all based on the CMS CP97. Okay, so you can just get it from us. You don't have to create on your own. So this classification, you can just get it from us. And this will give you together with the properties that is needed for costing information. And over here, as you can see, just for example, the description, they are all based on the CMS standard on how you should describe your element for your QTOs or BOQ. So these are just some examples, and we already developed them for you. All you need is just feel free to check in with us, and we can give it to you. So as you can see, these are preset expression-based property in case you guys are not clear what do I meant earlier. So you can use all these for cost data or even like formulas on how you can generate the different information in the QTO and BOQ. Okay, so now moving on to the setup of the classification rule. So basically this calculation rule is, for example, in the preambles, you have things like no deduction will be made for in the measurement of concrete for opening of less than 0.01 square meter. So by setting up this, it will just take into account all these opening based on the all these calculation rules. So you don't have to worry that. And another thing is the building material priority will help you make sure that you don't over calculate, only calculate that what is needed. Okay, so then next is to assign classification and plot the rates. So basically, you just need to assign, for example, the walls will be based on the concrete wall classification within CMS. Okay, and over here you can see you can import the rates as well, or you can push it in from dRofus. Okay, so now I'm actually doing an example based on the basement of this project itself. So later I'll show you more information on that. So now you just import the interactive schedule template. So you can see over here, these are we have already developed this. So 1 CE is actually conceptual estimate, and 2 quantity takeoff, and 3 for tendering, and so on and so forth. All right, so you can see the criteria. We are just going to pick up all the concrete work elements, and these are the different fields that we already set it so that you can get the needed information necessary. Okay, so so for some of the fields that you see over there, if you are not sure what are all these parameters and how they're going to get the dimension for you or the measurements, you can look up into these general listing parameters. We also have very specific one for the walls, for the beam, for columns, and etc. So you can scan the QR code, and then you can see what parameters will take off what kind of information. Okay, so I'll leave this page over here for a while for you guys to be able to scan it. Okay, so now this I'm just trying to show you what are the different quality takeoff we have attempt to do it. So over here is spouting work. which we are using the element schedule. So over here you can see that the quantity takeoff, and you can also do detailed costing. All right. So for the quantity takeoff, it will just take for the quantity itself, it will take the volume net and etc. So you can see at the bottom, it will tell you the total concrete quantity and also the number of piles there are. Okay, and also what the amounts based on the rates. So next is like the concrete related works based on the component schedule. So because if you are drawing it in modeling it within Archicad, you're using composite. So we can also extract out the concrete related works and do a quantity takeoff for that. Okay, so you can see here the hardcore, the screed, the waterproofing, so on and so forth. Okay, then next is the rebar. So you can also calculate the rebar based on the concrete volume, and it will be based on the reinforcement ratio, which will give you the estimate of the rebar cost. Okay, so over here you can also enter your which the rate is which subcontractor, the rate come from which subcontractor, and when was last updated. Okay, and this is for the concrete work itself. And if you notice from the so now we have developed the QTO into BOQ. So you can also develop the BOQ easily, and you can see there are certain information that is needed, like the top bar. So you can actually put a note over there, like the rate and price shall be deemed to be allowed for compliance with the specification and so on and so forth. And then, and even like just now I have mentioned, like for the description itself, so how you can generate them based on the CMS standard. Okay. So now I'm just showing you a short clip of the automation that we already created. So everything is automated. So you can see that the concrete grade, if let's say I change the grade itself to 35, and based on the rate for concrete grade 35, the rate will change accordingly. So everything is automated. So even like just now, Vima, I have already shown you that whatever all the processes we are trying to automate so that we can increase your project productivity. Okay, so this is just a short clip to show you that. And next, with this information, with the QTO and also the BOQ, you can also develop into a progress claim where you can do a quality takeoff for the field condition if there is difference. Otherwise, it will just automatically pick up the information from the BIM-based QTO. So most of the time, we believe that most of the building projects are developed with high accuracy. So most of the time we believe that the dimensions are accurate. So we will just pick it up. Otherwise, like Vima I showed earlier, you can key in within BIMx while on site, and then this information will immediately plug in and bump into these fields itself. Okay. So then after that, with this document, you can also generate the summarized version, like I showed earlier, how you develop from QTO to BOQ, and then so you can just develop into the progress claim, and then just put into the publisher set and just publish it to the BIM cloud, where your other stakeholders can review the progress claim itself. Okay. So for cost control, so basically, with all the information that you have, so just for in this demo itself, we are just actually just showing based on the contractor perspective of, let's say they have the main contractor cost, and also they have to pay the subcontractor. So this is the total value of the main contractor cost and also subcontractor cost. And then with the change of the different project status itself, you can see the respective certified payment based on the subcon cost and also the certified claims and claim amount. Okay, so and you can use all this information and together with our graphic override and develop the different kind of visual cost analysis. Okay, so you can see like the project work packages, the claim status, the plan progress status, and the work progress status. Okay, and you can also place it on the floor plan itself. Like for example, in this case, this is for the power foundation. Okay. So this is just another graphic override template that we already created. Again, we will provide to you if you need this. So you can see over here the progress monitoring based on the different status on the fabrication that is being fabricated, being delivered, work completed, main con inspection, and so on and so forth. Okay, so different color will just represent what's your progress of your site. And this information is also needed for cost control, to make sure that you meet the at a certain stage you will get certain payment, so that you will not be delayed for your payment itself. Okay, so this short clip is just to show you with the change of the status, you will see the cost will change itself. So over here you can see that the first element is fabricated and delivered. So you can see the certified payment is half of the subcon amount, and if you see over here now is completed. So you can see, but with pass with punch, so maybe 90% of the main contract cost. Okay, so for the claim amount, definitely we will, as a main con, we will go for full 100%, or let's say, yeah. So now I will just show you, if let's say for a new element, we're going to change it to fabricated, you can see that the certified payment, you will just pay up to 25%, delivered will go up to 50%, and also 50% for the main con. Okay, so now we change it to completion. So you can see the subcon payment is being full, and then the certified payment, certified claim and claim amount is still at 50%, because this is only completion but not inspected yet. Okay, so now if we change it to pass for the inspection, you will see that the certified payment goes full, but for the main con claim is still at 50%. Okay, so if I change this to pass, you can see now it's 100% of the main con cost. Okay, so there are many different variations we can develop for you. So this is just only an example to show you how is it being done. Okay, also not only that, with the change of the status, all this information, like I mentioned earlier, you can use together with our graphic override, and then you can create different visualization for you to easily visualize which element have not been claimed or been claimed, or what is the status based on the site. Okay, maybe let me skip. Oh, I think I'm showing the same one. Okay, so over here, so you can see with the status update, so I'm using the combination of progress monitoring. So now you can see that the slab itself, just now we can see is passed with punch. So we can see is red in color, and if it's yellow, means that the main con inspection has been done. And then if it's purple, means that the work status is completed but have yet go for inspection. All right, so these are just to update the different statuses based on the site. So just now BIMx I also show you using the BIMx itself, you can see this. Okay, so now you can also see the claim status and also the work packages. So which of the element belongs to which work packages. Okay, so you can, after that, you can save the view of each of these graphic override, and then place it on a layout to easily see the status and also the claim progress, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can see these are all the payment status and at which stage and how much is being paid accounting. Okay, so all in all, this basically from the conventional process, these are all based on 2D, and then it's not linked with the BIM model itself. But with these new processes where we are implementing is based on the BIM model. So your takeoff will be based on the BIM model itself, and then you reduce human error from manual takeoff, and also from the it will give you a real-time cost insight, because like just now, whatever BIMx has shown, the processes is automated, and we also have all this costing information being automated inside Archicad, so it will give you a real-time cost insight. And then with the use of graphic override, you can also do a visual cost analysis, and also lifecycle costing, enhanced value engineering, and also with the field condition, dimension, and all this, you can update your BIM model. Okay, so all in all, you will increase the productivity and also cost accuracy, and also give you a better informed decision making. So thank you. You can join us on our social media, and also for our YouTube page, where we will upload all these webinars. Thank you all for joining today.